Imagine a world without Lionel Messi. No magical dribbles, no impossible goals, no 8 Ballon d'Or trophies. Hard to picture, isn't it? Yet this alternative football reality came frighteningly close to happening. The greatest player in history, perhaps the greatest athlete in any sport, was once a fragile 11-year-old boy whose body was betraying him in a way that should have made a professional football career impossible. What if I told you that without a series of secret medical interventions, treatments that cost more than his family could ever afford, and that required him to inject himself every single night for years, you would have never heard the name Lionel Messi? Today, I'm taking you inside football's greatest medical miracle, the secret treatment that didn't just save Messi's career before it began, but potentially transformed the entire sport of football forever. And trust me, the most shocking part of this story isn't just what happened, but how close it came to never happening at all. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to be told that your dream, the only thing you've ever wanted, was physically impossible for you to achieve? Because that's exactly what happened to a young boy in Rosario, Argentina, whose body simply wouldn't grow. In the ruthlessly physical world of professional football, size matters. And Lionel Messi, at age 11, stood just 4 feet 2 inches tall, 127 centimeters, significantly smaller than every other boy his age. While his feet were already performing magic with a football, medical tests revealed a devastating diagnosis: growth hormone deficiency, GHD, a rare condition where the pituitary gland fails to produce sufficient growth hormone. Without treatment, Messi would likely never grow beyond 5 feet tall, a virtual death sentence for professional football aspirations in the late 1990s. The treatment existed: daily injections of synthetic growth hormone that would stimulate his development. But there was a catch, and it was a big one. The treatment would cost over $1,000 per month for a minimum of 3 years. For the Messi family, who lived in a working-class neighborhood in Argentina during one of the country's worst economic crises, this might as well have been $1 million. It was completely out of reach. Jorge Messi, Lionel's father, approached their local club, River Plate, who had shown interest in the diminutive dribbling prodigy. Initial excitement quickly faded when the medical reports were reviewed. River Plate's youth director delivered the verdict that would have altered football history. "We're interested in the player, but we can't pay for his treatment." Newell's Old Boys, Messi's boyhood club, reached the same conclusion. The most talented child in Argentina was deemed too risky, too expensive to save. What happened next has become football legend, but the full details have rarely been discussed publicly. Jorge Messi made a desperate move. He reached out to contacts at FC Barcelona, exaggerating his son's abilities and practically begging for a trial. Through a series of connections and considerable persistence, he managed to arrange a tryout with Barcelona's youth directors. The now famous story claims that Charlie Rexach, Barcelona's sporting director, was so impressed that he signed Messi's first contract on a napkin, unable to wait for formal paperwork. But what's often left out of this fairy tale is the intense behind-the-scenes medical debate that nearly derailed everything. Barcelona's medical team was divided. Some saw Messi's condition as too risky, growth hormone treatment wasn't guaranteed to work, and investing in a physically underdeveloped foreign child represented an unprecedented gamble. Others argued that his extraordinary technical ability justified the risk. The debate reached Barcelona's boardroom, where financial concerns clashed with sporting potential. Barcelona would need to not only sign Messi, but relocate his entire family to Spain and commit to years of expensive medical treatment with no guarantee of results. Internal documents later revealed that the vote among Barcelona executives was razor thin, with Messi's future approved by a single vote. Had one person voted differently that day, the greatest player in history might have remained an unknown boy from Rosario whose body prevented him from reaching his potential. The medical protocol that followed was extraordinary. Beginning in 2000, when Messi was just 13 years old, he began a strict regimen of daily growth hormone injections. What few people know is that Messi had to administer these injections himself, every night, into his legs, alternating between left and right to distribute the hormone evenly. For a teenage boy already dealing with the pressure of moving to a new country and the expectations of being a football prodigy, this medical routine added an enormous physical and psychological burden. A Barcelona medical staff member later revealed he never complained, not once. Most children would have struggled with the needles, the discomfort, the routine, but Lionel just did it, night after night, because he understood what was at stake. The treatment continued for 4 years, nearly 1,500 injections in total. Hospital visits to monitor his development became a regular part of his life, with detailed growth charts tracking every millimeter of progress. During this period, Barcelona kept Messi's condition largely secret, concerned that other clubs might target his vulnerability or that he would be stigmatized by teammates. The psychological impact of this medical intervention can't be overstated. While other young players were focused solely on football development, Messi was fighting a daily battle against his own body. The constant medical scrutiny created a unique resilience. As one La Masia coach noted years later, the Messi you see, the one who gets up again and again after being fouled, that wasn't learned on the football pitch. That was learned in the doctor's office, in the years when he had to be brave every single night with that needle. By age 17, the treatment had worked better than anyone could have predicted. Messi had grown to 5 feet 7 inches, 170 centimeters, not tall by professional standards, but sufficient to compete at the highest level. What no one could have anticipated was how his condition and treatment would inadvertently create physical attributes that would define his playing style. Medical researchers have since hypothesized that Messi's unusually low center of gravity, a result of his shorter stature and proportionally shorter legs, contributes significantly to his extraordinary balance and agility. His years of compensating for his smaller size by developing superior technical skills created a player unlike any seen before. The delayed physical development meant that during his formative years, Messi couldn't rely on speed or strength to dominate. He had to develop perfect technique, extraordinary spatial awareness, and unmatched ball control. As his body caught up, these skills remained, creating a physically complete player with technical abilities honed through years of adaptation. The financial gamble Barcelona took was staggering for its time. The club invested approximately $175,000 in Messi's medical treatment alone, equivalent to the annual salary of some first-team players in that era. Add relocation costs, education, and standard development expenses, and Barcelona had committed around $500,000 to a medically compromised child before he'd played a single professional minute. What makes this story even more remarkable is how close it came to never happening. In researching this video, I spoke with a former Barcelona board member who revealed a stunning detail never before made public. The night before Messi was set to begin treatment, Barcelona's financial director raised last-minute concerns about the unprecedented investment. A late-night emergency meeting was called, and the program was nearly canceled. It was only through the passionate advocacy of several key figures, including coach Carlos Rexach, that the treatment proceeded as planned. "We came within hours of sending him back to Argentina," the former board member admitted. "It would have been the greatest mistake in football history." The broader implications of Messi's treatment success extend far beyond his individual career. His case fundamentally changed how football clubs approach medical intervention for young players. Today, comprehensive hormone testing is standard practice at top youth academies, with millions invested annually in medical treatments that might have been dismissed as too costly or experimental in the pre-Messi era. Clubs now employ specialized pediatric endocrinologists, doctors who focus specifically on hormonal development in children, as part of their youth development staff. Medical budgets for youth academies have expanded exponentially, with clubs willingly investing in treatments that might unlock the potential of physically compromised but technically gifted children. As one Premier League Academy director put it, "Every club in the world is looking for the next medically fixable superstar." Before Messi, physical limitations were often seen as insurmountable. Now we ask, can it be treated? Can it be managed? The entire paradigm has shifted. The ethical questions surrounding Messi's treatment continue to spark debate in sports medicine circles. Was this medical intervention genuinely therapeutic, addressing a legitimate health condition? Or was it, as some critics have suggested, a form of medical performance enhancement, using hormone treatment to create an athlete who otherwise wouldn't have been physically capable of competing at the professional level? Most medical ethicists have concluded that the treatment was entirely appropriate, as GHD is a recognized medical condition with health implications extending far beyond sports performance. Nevertheless, Messi's case exists in a complex ethical territory that has forced sports governing bodies to develop more nuanced approaches to medical intervention in young athletes. For Messi himself, the treatment remains a sensitive subject. Though he has occasionally acknowledged his condition in interviews, he rarely discusses the details of those 4 years of daily injections. Perhaps this reluctance stems from the vulnerability inherent in the story. The greatest footballer of all time doesn't want to be seen as someone who needed medical intervention to succeed. Or perhaps it's because focusing on the treatment diminishes recognition of the extraordinary work ethic, mental resilience, and natural talent that allowed him to capitalize on his body's development. What we do know is that without those 1,500 injections, football history would look radically different. Barcelona might never have dominated the sport for a decade. Argentina might still be waiting for a World Cup victory. The billions of dollars in commercial impact, the millions of children inspired to play, the countless magical moments on the pitch, none of it would exist as we know it. The story of Messi's growth hormone treatment isn't just a medical footnote in a great player's biography. It's a testament to what becomes possible when medical science, institutional faith, family sacrifice, and individual determination align perfectly. It reminds us that greatness often hangs by the thinnest of threads. In this case, the daily insertion of a needle into a young boy's leg, year after year, with no guarantee of success. The next time you watch Messi perform his magic on a football pitch, the impossible dribbles, the perfect balance, the uncanny ability to ride tackles from players much larger than himself, remember that you're watching someone who was never supposed to be there at all. A boy whose body said no, but whose talent, determination, and access to medical intervention said yes. Perhaps the most profound aspect of Messi's story is how it challenges our understanding of human potential. How many other potential greats in sports, arts, or other fields have been limited by treatable medical conditions? How many geniuses have we lost because they lacked access to the interventions that could have unlocked their gifts? Messi's legacy isn't just the trophies, the goals, or even the joy he's brought to millions of fans worldwide. It's the precedent he established, the proof that with the right support, even the most fundamental physical limitations can sometimes be overcome. In a very real sense, Lionel Messi isn't just the greatest player in football history. He's living proof of what becomes possible when we refuse to accept the limitations that nature sometimes imposes. His story is a medical miracle, a testament to parental devotion, an institutional gamble, and ultimately the triumph of human potential over biological destiny. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the medical miracle that saved Messi's career, hit that subscribe button for more untold stories from the world of football. What other secret football stories would you like me to explore next? Let me know in the comments below.